Sometimes you would like to check certain type of conditions on the strings. Let's say, for example, we have a sample email address. You would like to check whether it is a valid email address or not. For example, you would like to check whether space is available, or it ends with .com or .co.us, or it should contain @ symbol, and that email address should not begin with @ symbol. Like this, you would like to check plenty of conditions. Not only just email, you would like to check several conditions on several types of values such as phone numbers, website address, etc. So, how can you check all these conditions? That's what the current context here. Let us try. But remember, in the real world applications, we are going to use something called regular expressions for this checking. So as of now, ignore the regular expressions because it is an advanced topic. So let us try to understand how do you check the strings without regular expressions, that is only by using a predefined functions in strings. Let us try. Let me create a new file, checking strings.py. For example, we have a variable called email. So this email is equal to someone@sample.com. So at first, I would like to check whether sample available in this email or not. We can do that by using in operator. So we are going to check sample in email. Means in the value of email variable, that is someone@sample.com, we are looking for sample. So it is there, right? So it should return true. Let me print it. Instead, you can also store this value into another variable and print the same, of course. So in this case, you are getting true. It's because our email value contains the string called sample. So in case if you give a substring that does not exist there, for example like hello, since hello is not found in someone@sample.com, it should return false. Yes, we are getting the same. And generally in the email addresses, spaces are not allowed, right? So I would like to check whether space available or not. So this time we are writing space in quotes, and then we are using not in operator. So this will check whether space should not be available in the email. If it is not available, means not present in the value, it should return true, otherwise false. So since space is not really there, we are expecting true. Yes, it is true. Suppose, for example, really that email address contains a space in between like this. In that case, we are expecting false here. Alright. Next, after that, we are looking for @ symbol. So since @ symbol is already there in that email value, it should return false because we are using not in operator. So what this not in operator will do is that if the given substring is already found in that particular string, it returns false. In case if it is already found there, it returns true. So in this case, @ symbol is already there in that email. So it should return false because it is not in operator. Yes, we are getting correct output, that is false. So in case if you want to see whether the particular substring exists in the string, then use in operator. In case if you want to check particular substring should not exist in that string, use not in operator. Suppose instead of it, we are using www. Since our email doesn't contain that www, so it returns true. Yes, we are getting the same. Alright, so this is about in and not in operators. We can do the same thing with methods. So we have a predefined method called startswith. So what is exactly a method? A method is a function that is associated to an object. But still in Python, we have not discussed about objects and methods. So we are trying to understand the same in advanced topics. So for time being, how do you remember the methods is, whenever you write a value or variable, something like for example email variable, then you have to use dot, and then after the dot we are calling a function. So as soon as you prefix a dot before the function name, that function is called as method. For example, dot starts with, dot ends with, dot index, etc. So whenever you see something like dot and then some particular name, you can understand that it is a method but not a simple function. So our print is a function, but ABC here is a method. It's because it is prefixed with dot. Anyway, similarly we have a predefined method called startswith. And what will it do exactly? So this startswith method receives an argument, for example a substring like sample. So if the particular value begins with this substring, it returns true, otherwise false. In this case, we are looking for sample, right? Sample is not found at the beginning of the string. See, it only checks the beginning of the string but not the middle or ending. So literally this sample substring is not found in that particular value that is at the beginning. So it should return false. Oops, it must be written as completely lowercase. So in this case we are getting false. It's because at the very beginning of the particular string, we are unable to find this substring called sample. It doesn't matter whether it is found in the middle or ending. Suppose you would like to make sure whether the email begins with someone or not. In that case, you can use this starts with, and then the substring that we are looking for is someone. And now this substring is found at the beginning of the string. So it should return true. Yes, we are getting the same. So just like starts with, we have ends with to check ending part of the string. For example, we have to check the condition like our email address should be end with .com. How do you check the same? Email dot ends with. So why we are writing dot ends with? Because ends with is a predefined method. So it does exist already in the Python library itself, and it is a method. So always while calling this starts with or ends with, we should write dot as prefix. In this case, we are looking for .com, and it is really found there. It ends with .com. So we are expecting true for this. In case if you are expecting .co.us, so it doesn't end with .co.us, so it should return false. Yes, we are getting the same, that is true and false. So anytime you can comment or uncomment the lines of code by simply selecting them and press Ctrl/ and again Ctrl/. So you can toggle between comment and uncomment by using Ctrl/. The next function is count. For example, you would like to find out how many times you have used yes. Actually, in some one yes is found. In sample, another time yes is found. You would like to count the number of occurrences of that particular string. For that case, you will use count function. Sorry, it is the method. So you require to say email.count. And you require to mention the substring which you want to search. So we are looking for yes. So this particular character will be searched in that particular value and it is found twice. So it should return 2. So the count method always returns the number of occurrences of the particular substring. In this case, it is 2. Of course, if the given string is not found, obviously it returns 0. For example, if we are giving like Q, this Q is not found there. So we are getting 0. That indicates it is not found. Okay, my requirement here is that instead of just number of occurrences, I would like to find out the index of the particular string. Suppose we are looking for O. So it is found 3 times, right? Here, here, and here. So in this case, I would like to find out the index number, but not the number of occurrences itself. Let us try. So in this index method, you require to supply the substring which you want to search. For example, O. So actually that character called O is found in 3 places, right? So which occurrence index will be returned here? Let us check. See, we are getting 1. That means it always gives you the index of the first occurrence, that is index of this particular character. It completely ignores the remaining occurrences. Actually, it is found even here and even here, right? So the second occurrence onwards, it completely ignores. It only considers the first occurrence of the particular given substring or character. That is the default nature of index. But suppose my requirement here is, I am not interested in the first occurrence, but I am very much interested in the second occurrence only. In that case, we have to omit the left side part, that is prior to index number 1. We have to straight away start searching from the character called M, that is index number 2. So the formula for this is, whenever you would like to get the second occurrence or nth occurrence, where n can be any number like 3, 4, 5 something, in that case we have to start searching from a particular character, that is the previous occurrence plus 1. In this case, the first occurrence index is 1, right? So we should start searching from 2. So as a second argument, we have to supply another value, that is 2. So what is the significance of this particular 2? Well, we are looking for the substring called O, and we want to start searching from index number 2, not prior to that. Means, where is the index number 2 here? That is M, right? So starting from M up to ending, we have to check the particular string. So from here, where it is found? It is exactly found here, right? That is O. So that is why we will pick up its index. So in this case, it gives the index of second occurrence but not the first one, because we are straight away providing the index number 2 as the start index. So it should return the index of second occurrence, that is 4. So guess how do you get the third occurrence? It is with same syntax, but instead of 2, we have to provide 5. How I am getting 5? The formula here is that the previous index plus 1. The previous index is 4. So 4 plus 1, that is 5. So if you start searching from index number 5, you should get the third occurrence. Let us try. So here start index is 5. So I am getting the third occurrence here, that is 16. So what if you search for starting from 17? See, notice that the 16 is the index of O where it is in com, that is COM. So in this case, we are starting searching from next character, that is M. So we must get value error. So that is what the exact point that I would like to mention here. So the index method nature here is that as soon as the particular substring is found, it returns the index silently, no issues. But in case if the particular substring is not found, it always returns value error. That means substring not found. So this is the default nature of index. Not only that, if you simply try any character or substring that does not exist, let's say email.index of some substring like for example hello. Since this hello is not found in this particular email, it simply returns value error. Let me comment out the previous code. Now we are getting the error related to this particular line. It's because we are looking for index of hello, but hello is not found. So by default, index method returns value error if the string is not found. Alright, but I would like to avoid the errors, right? I don't want to see these exceptions or errors. See, whenever there is an exception or error, it will stop executing the further code. So, since Python is interpreted language, whenever there is any exception or error, all the subsequent code will be automatically stopped executing. So, if this particular line has error, the subsequent code will not be executed. It stops where the exception or error is found. That is the default nature of interpreters. So we want to avoid the errors, right? How to do that? In this case, instead of index, you can try using another alternative method, that is find. So the syntax and usage of find is almost same as index. So instead of index, you can replace the same with find. It works absolutely. But only the difference is the find method returns -1 if the particular string is not found. That is the only difference. Let us try. Let us try to copy paste the same code here. So we have commented out that index method. See, simply instead of index, we are trying to replace the same as find. So it works exactly same as index method like it before, except the fact of only 1 point difference. That is, instead of value error in the last 2 lines, it simply gives us -1. It's because The value 0 is representation of the first character. So numerically, if you want to represent the meaning of not found, it should go negative, that is -1. That is why always it returns -1 if the given string is not found. For example, the character called O is not found after the 17th index. And in the same way, this substring called hello is not at all found in that particular email. So in both cases, it returns -1. Except this particular point of difference, in above cases, it works in the same way like it before. So you can simply search for a particular substring or character. You can also mention the start index for first occurrence, second occurrence, third occurrence, etc. So in the real world applications, which is better? See, in case if you are sure that your substring is absolutely found in the particular string, but you want to get the index, in that case, use the index method. But alternatively, if you are not sure the substring exists in the string, in that case, use find method. Because the find method avoids the errors, it simply returns -1 if the particular substring is not found. So if you are 100% sure that the substring is found, then only use index method. Alright. So most similarly, we have rIndex and rfind, which means it directly returns the last index. Let's try. So in case if you are giving find of O, it returns the first index, right? That is the index of the first occurrence. But you want to find out directly the last index. In that case, instead of find, you will use rfind. So this is the shortcut way to find the index of last occurrence. See, find of O versus rfind of O. The find of O returns the index of the first occurrence, but whereas rfind returns the index of last occurrence. So the first occurrence index is 1, but the last occurrence index is 16. So instead of you travel from first, second, third occurrences and so on, you can straight away go to the last occurrence by using rfind. And of course, in the same way, you can try using index and rIndex. So both gives us same output. But still the difference between rIndex and rfind is same. That is, if the substring is not found in the main string, the rIndex method returns value error, that is exception. But whereas the rfind method returns -1. That indicates the string is not found. Alright, so we have understood enough for find versus index. And I can tell you one more useful function for strings. That is len. It simply returns the length of the string. That means the number of characters of the particular string. I am just writing the sample output as comments just for your reference. Alright, just we have written the comments with output. Anyways, let me comment out all this code. Now again, we are coming back to len function. It is a function but not a method. So how can you say that it is a function or method? See, before the function name, we are not writing dot, right? See, first we are writing the function name, and then in the parentheses, we are writing the variable name, that is email. See, in case if you write function name first and then value in the parentheses, it is called as a function. But in case if you write email.len, it is called as a method. But in the library itself, len is a function but not a method. So you cannot write email.len, it doesn't work. See, if you try email.len, it doesn't work because it is saying that str object has no attribute called len. So len is a function, you cannot use the same as a method. Anyway, so what is the purpose of this len? It just returns the number of characters of the particular string, that is 18 in this example. Of course, it is just a simple function. It just returns the number of characters, that is 18. In this case, remember that not only alphabets but also digits, spaces, special characters, everything is treated as a character only. So even spaces, special characters, digits also counted in the length. Anyway, to find out the length of the string, you can use this function called len. So there is an assignment for you. I will give you an email address like this. So you have to check all the conditions like it should contain .com, it should not contain more than one dot, it should contain only one @ symbol but not more than one, it should not contain spaces, it should not contain special characters except underscore, like for example, percentage symbol, dollar are not allowed in the email address. So all these conditions should be checked. So if the email matches with all these conditions, you must print true. In case if the email doesn't match with any of these conditions, at least one condition, you should print false. So try this assignment. It really improves your logical thinking and grip in the Python code.